Cool. Well, on behalf of WIDR Kalamazoo, I welcome Plastic Picnic here today. I spelled Plastic Picnic wrong in my interview question, so that's cool. Currently, we got Emil and Lincoln with us. There's two other dudes that are not on the call. It's Marshall and no, Lincoln's here. Gordon.
Yep.
My
Marshall
bad.
and Gordon.
Marshall and Gordon. Word. So welcome, of course. I got a couple icebreaker questions for you guys. So just starting off, each of you can tell a little snippet of how your two separate projects came together to be Plastic Picnic, except I don't know if you guys were in the same projects together. I saw like the bio on your artist page and just thought that was pretty interesting.
Yeah.
And some light into that. Yeah.
Yeah. So Lincoln and I were in a band in college and just kind of like close friends in college. And then Marshall and Gordon, who played drums and bass, were friends even before that. I think they kind of grew up in grade school a little bit together, but then they also played music together in projects in the Northwest. And then the funny part, I guess, was that we just really didn't meet each other. Lincoln and I moved to New York separately from them. And then a mutual friend kind of put us in touch because we were looking for more guys to start a band with. And then there happened to be two guys that, ballpark, same place.
Right.
And it worked out. So, yeah.
Weird.
Lincoln
and then,
frozen again.
Yeah, you're good. And Lincoln, anything to add to that?
No, yeah, it was just kind of like serendipitous, and it worked out.
Yeah.
It was. We kind of called it like a blind date that went really well because
I like that. Yeah.
Gordon just showed up and like sat down and played drums, and we were like, "Well, this works." And then he was like, "Well, my best friend's here, and he plays bass." And we're like, "Well, that's just like perfect." So
boom, band.
Yeah.
Like all done. If you guys have been like, because I saw you guys released a single relatively recently, have you been like working on new material virtually, or how's that going about, if at all?
Yeah. We were all kind of writing quite a bit right before, or kind of right as, I guess, this all happened. So we've all kind of taken those seedlings to different places and have been working on them through like email and text, but it's all been very like piecemealed, I guess, where everyone kind of is starting their own songs and then we're sending them, and some songs are like a little bit further down the
rabbit hole, if you will.
Rabbit hole. And then but we're also like, we don't have a record to commit to, we don't have like a date to commit to, so it's kind of like there's an anxiety in that, but it's also been really nice because I think we're all just kind of writing. And I actually didn't work on music for like 2 full weeks when I got home, and that was by far the longest I've gone without kind of opening up like Ableton in probably like 5 years. So that was like actually really nice. But yeah, I think we're all just kind of writing and sending stuff, and we're all just eager to get together because it's kind of, we like thrive and in working independently from each other sometimes, but then we also like really crave the hyper collaborative aspect. And I think that combination is when like Plastic stuff is the best. So it's been hard to not have the latter half of that kind of
for sure
smoothie.
And Lincoln, any thought? Yeah.
No, just kind of the same thing. Like, I think most bands are getting used to working remotely, and we're lucky that we're just now getting to the point where we're more comfortable with that. Like, people have more home studio setups and are figuring out how to like produce music at home better. But yeah, it kind of hurts to not be able to play live, but it's also an okay time because when I say play live, I really mean like I was talking about writing live, like in a rehearsal space, but also to play live. But it's a good time to like step back and focus on songwriting kind of separately, break things down, and just like write 100 songs.
Yeah, and the ones that don't work, that's okay. You got 90 other ideas, and whatever. I think I said that backwards, but it's fine.
I think the isolation is actually, I think, like, is just gonna force people to discover new things. Like today, we were all excited actually in our like band group text. Gordon, who plays drums, like sent an entire song that he like sang and recorded on, and that was like kind of the first time we've seen him do that.
Yeah.
So that's like really exciting to all of us because we're like, whoa, a Gordon song. And everybody's going to kind of be pushed into new corners, just being isolated and not really like relying on each other's influence. Cause I think we
Yeah.
all like lean on each other's strengths when we're together instead of kind of like indulging in our own sometimes, you know? So I think it's been
Right.
fun to see everyone kind of,
Like locked in.
go off into their own rabbit hole. Cause I think that could make
Mhm.
more interesting things once we bring them all together.
Yeah. So that's very interesting you bring that up. So you guys work kind of independently. In the past, like pre-COVID, did you kind of come up with your own ideas independently as well and then come into the studio space together? Or was it more of like a mix of those two things? Sorry, that's like kind of vague, but
No,
No,
go ahead, Lincoln.
I'd say yeah, it makes sense. Like we always, I mean, initially wrote things live in the space together, so it was interesting um stepping back for like the last record and doing more things kind of pieced out in recording in like our rooms or in separate houses. We kind of worked in both ways. We work really collaboratively and just kind of like fill in what needs to be filled in on a song or an idea that we all really
Mhm.
like. um
Yeah.
but it's definitely like a really shifting process. Like it's always, we're always like learning or hearing something different, you know, like, wait, can we process the drums instead of live drums, or can we like process
Right.
this, or should we replace that? Can we do it ourselves, or do we have to like have a producer do it? Yeah, it's always like a learning process. So definitely the quarantine is a really big learning process.
It's an
Piece of that.
adjustment, but it's also, I think, yeah, like you said, there's just kind of that new creative workflow that you're able to, you know, get out that you normally wouldn't have the time for
Yeah,
when you're all in
totally.
a room together and just kind of like, bouncing off each other's collaborative like prowess or whatever.
Yeah.
Oh, Gordon's coming in, so I'm gonna admit him
Oh, nice.
on the spot.
Hey.
You're very,
Where is he at?
there we
There he
go. Perfect.
is. Hops
Connecting.
on.
Yours looking nice.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, Gordon. We were just talking about
How's it
the
going?
song you made.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Just in general, just about your guys' like independence from each other in terms of like songwriting lately. And I don't know if you wanted to chime in on that a little bit, but yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of cool to see that. Like, usually we get like all the ideas get to like everybody pulls the band a little bit in their own direction when we're together in a practice space. So you see that in like a lot smaller ways, and now we're getting like kind of pulling farther a little bit. But then there's usually when as soon as we all start working on something together, we find a middle ground. It seems like so. It's kind of
Yeah.
exciting. I think it might lead to just greater variety with our stuff.
And so yeah, we were talking about juxtaposition earlier and all of those things. I'm just curious. In the Facebook bio that you guys have, it says it's sad music to dance to. Was there creative intent behind creating a broader brand, so to speak, with this juxtaposition of emotions, or where do you each try to channel that in your playing, or I don't know?
I think it naturally comes out because like we all have a big soft spot for like really sad music. Like my favorite band would be like The National, and then we listen to like Phoebe or Mitski and things like that a lot that are like very like down, like sad, emo kind of music. But then
Right.
whenever we are around each other, we end up just being like really silly and having a lot of fun, and we can't really help ourselves. So
Yeah.
ends up being like there's like a serious element of music that we like set out to try and create, but then also can't help but have fun with it, and then it just turns into something more upbeat anyway. But then there's still like the initial content or like the ideas behind it that are maybe like a little more serious. So we
Yeah.
just decided to kind of like try and embrace that.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. No, that I think that sums it up perfectly. Because yeah, like if you're all downers when you're playing, like I get it. Sometimes, there are amazing records that are crafted when everyone's kind of down and it's just like, oh no, like the world's falling apart. But yeah, like you said, if you're in a collaborative workspace where you're, upbeat and it's just like, a good time, then yeah, like go for it. And then yeah, some final parting thoughts, just general advice any of you guys would give to those contemplating musical collaboration. How would you go about it again if you were to do it? Just general thoughts on that.
Lincoln, look like you.
I
I see
think,
something sparking over there.
yeah, I got something sparking. I think a big like progression throughout all of our like career as a band or our individual careers as musicians is just having confidence and like embracing what you're doing, and feeling like that's worthwhile or not second guessing it. To some degree, it's going to have to like adapt and, you know, shift to just grow. But I think it's just a lot of it is allowing yourself to go further and further into whatever styles already exist within yourself. And I've heard artists like St. Vincent talk about that as well. Obviously, someone who's like really out there and like really dove into like her niche sound and found that. And I think that's definitely something that I'm always kind of reviewing or you know, thinking about as we like go further into like music. And then that comes into play when you work with other people, because you're kind of like, you understand more of like what you're bringing to the table and how you can kind of intermix with everyone else's sounds.
Yeah, I like that answer a lot. Gordon, Emil? Or Emil?
Yeah, no, go for it.
I think what goes in kind of in hand with what Lincoln was saying too is then just like when you are collaborating, understanding that like there's the confident, like bringing something with confidence to a group, but also the really hard thing is understanding that like you have to let go of it too. Like if you're actually going to share in a project, maybe the most difficult thing is like relinquishing control.
Yes.
And understanding that like you have to have confidence in like the own things that you can bring to it, but you also have to have like kind of a blind confidence in the people that you like, or trust in the people you're working with, because it's always going to be like really difficult to like maybe relinquish an idea you started with, or to see a song going in a direction that's not what you heard for it, and then you have to have that level of trust to know that like there's like a song starts with a little seed and there's so many different directions that it could go. There's no inherently correct way that it's going to end up, and so to trust the other people that they have a vision too, and like be able to follow along with that, is really kind of indispensable. Otherwise, yeah, like you're never going to find those surprises that usually end up making like your favorite moments of a song or an album.
Let your baby go.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's really funny you said let your baby go, because our manager loves to use kill your bees as like if a demo is being dragged out too long or something. But I think I was going to say kind of like a mixture of Gordon and Lincoln, but I think that like my advice, the biggest thing would be like not be afraid to kill your babies, but also not be afraid to stand up for them. Because I think that like the hardest thing about collaboration is confrontation. But like if you're not confrontational when collaborating, then like a lot of things that you believe in don't get said. And I think that's like really uncomfortable. Like I know Lincoln and I will, like right before we left, I feel like Lincoln and I had like a couple tense song moments where we were like kind of fighting for our babies or whatever. And that's like uncomfortable, but you have to be like really okay with that uncomfortableness, the same way that like a relationship would happen, where like you have to be okay with fighting at each other to get past a problem, even if that argument or that situation is uncomfortable. You have to be like okay with that, because if you don't speak up, then you have a song that you're not happy with. So I think it's like really important to compromise, but also like not shy away from confrontation and like fight for the part of the song that you like or whatever, you know. And I think that some of our favorite songs have been the parts where like we've had someone really fight for one part, or like Gordon like really wants to keep this bridge in, or Lincoln really wants to keep this weird post-chorus part in, and those make songs, you know, if they weren't willing to fight for them.
Right.
And I feel the same way about like a lyric that didn't really matter to anyone else, but like I really wanted it in there because I thought it was, you know, an important piece. I think that everyone fighting for their own puzzle piece is like important, or else it just would sound like one person's song instead of, you know, a band's song.
And that's not what you start a band for.
It's true. It's
generally.
True. Yeah.
But yeah, that's I love all those thoughts. I echo the same ideas. I have my own solo project. I'm in a super group, so you kind of have that duality there that I get to experience with like, when do I let my baby go? When is it okay to just kind of trust in other people to, you know, carry you forward? It's a hard balance that, you know, it takes a lot of time to learn, and I'm glad that you guys are like aware of that.
Also, liking each other helps a lot.
Yeah. I would agree with
Yeah,
that.
don't ever start a band with people that you don't like, just that you don't enjoy their company with. It's just, yeah,
Just a poor choice.
terrible choice.
Terrible choice. Well, yeah, that's about all I got for today. Thank you guys so much.
Yeah,
No,
thank
really,
you.
thanks for having us.
Of course.